buckets. Dude, it was my glands.
going the college route, so
Yeah.
we might actually do that.
Huh. Lesions in their brain, and they did all this brain science.
I thought you told me not to watch this documentary.
I did. I'm sorry.
But,
But anyway, I think you have to watch it.
No, I'm very informed.
Yeah.
I would say that it's the equipment's kind of extraordinary, and it goes off anytime, and they take them out.
That's good, yeah.
It's not like it ever was, and we have so many kids who are playing soccer and basketball and other things that have no equipment,
Yeah.
and so it's a whole different deal.
Crashing into each other. Make sure your brain just is in like a body of water, so your just brain hits your skull, and then it's really bad. Anyway, sorry. I'm obsessed with Frontline.
But besides that,
it's all good. Oh, gummy fish. I love it. I love it.
these are ones that really
Oh my God.
These are Parkle Pops, and so
I love that. Yeah.
Those are really good.
Okay. Gotta be careful. No.
Hi,
Who are you? Hello, Madame.
Bree, meet Jason.
Hi, I'm Jason. Who are you?
Bree.
Nice to meet you.
PR, comms, chief of staff, assistant, what?
All of that. Just kidding.
Comms.
Yeah.
Very good. Welcome.
Thank you.
Don't worry, she's gonna be okay. Don't interrupt the show.
She can handle herself.
Yeah.
She's good.
I had a comms person once stop the show.
What?
Yeah, they were sitting there and they were just like, "Oh, I think you can answer that." And I was like, "Did you just stop the
And
show?"
we're live.
It was like she couldn't help herself. She was like in the seat, and he answered the question wrong, and I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, you're the CEO now." It was pretty funny. It's in the. I wonder if we left in the episode. It was like in the first year or so. It wasn't live at the time. It was pretty funny though. Okay, how are we doing over there, Charlie? Hold on one second. I just need to get some. I got a little bit of cold. My
I
phone
even
is on
gave
silent.
you tissues.
I keep the tissues here just in case. Okay. Okay, here we go. Me, my moment. Me, my moment.
La 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 la.
No. Okay, whenever you're ready. 3, 2, 1, me. I am here. Hey. If you see me look down, I'm not on camera. It's Emmy Award-winning producer Jackie feeding me a question or a stat. So don't get thrown off by it.
The Emmy Award-winning producer.
4 Emmys. 4
There
more
you go.
than me.
That's awesome.
Let's get I need an Emmy. Where's the Emmy on this shelf? I want one of these Emmys on the shelf, okay? Actually, Jackie, all 4 Emmys on that top shelf there behind the gas from now on. Now it'll be like a show of power. All right, you got to bring one into the office, okay? One into the office, please.
You can put them on these special cups.
I know. I had these
Cups
mans
are
always.
awesome. I love these.
Well, I wanted to have like a New York thing.
I know. I
and-
have the China version of the New York Diner
Yes.
cup in my house.
So I was like, let's make a parody of it, and it actually came out great.
These are fantastic.
It's trademarked. So there's a company that owns the Greek coffee cup trademark, and you can buy the cups from them, and they sell these
The porcelain
ones. Yeah,
Yeah, no, I have
they're
them
really
at
cool.
home. It's like
yeah,
my last vestige of New York.
exactly.
Because New York doesn't even have them anymore.
No, New York is not cool like it was. We left it. Yes, I'm ready, Charlie. Whenever you're ready. 3, 2, 1, me. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of This Week in Startups. I'm your host, Jason Calacanis. We host this show 100 times a year. You can find it at thisweekinstartups.com and on all fine podcast players everywhere. Today's guest I've known for a long time, decades in fact, through Web 1.0, Web 2.0, and now on to her latest startup, which is called Brandless. Her name is Tina Sharkey. Welcome to the program.
I'm so psyched to be here.
Yeah, we've known each other forever.
I was like, how many decades is he actually going to disclose?
Yeah, exactly. Well, maybe like we probably met in 96, 97 in Silicon Alley.
Yeah, no, totally.
You were working at...
Oh, at the time, iVillage.
iVillage, right?
Yes, but then remember the shoot in your apartment with Jacob on my lap
Yes.
as a baby, and
Right.
he was like caught in the center of the Silicon
Alley 100.
Yes.
Yes, you were in the 100.
Didn't Joanne Wilson like sell the ads for it?
Joanne, yeah, people don't know. It's interesting. I meet young people, and they don't even know that I had the magazine. And the magazine obviously defined me for a decade in
Totally.
New York. And so what Tina's referring to is I created a list of the top 100 people in Silicon Alley, and I ranked it, which at the time everybody advised me not to do, and it created a lot of drama. But it also conflict equals drama. Do you remember your number?
I do not. I just know that my baby at the time was on my lap, and he
Fantastic.
was not meant to be in the photo shoot, but he wouldn't seperate, and the photographer was leaving, and you're like, you know what? The
Let's
kids.
go.
Then you. I remember what you said.
Kid
You go, the
stays in
kids
the-
in the shot. The kids in the shot.
Kid stays in the picture. There you go. Well, let's get right into it. You created a new company. I'm fascinated by it, and I understand it's doing really well. It's called Brandless. And what is it, and why did you start it?
So, my co-founder, who's in Australia, so otherwise he would be here with me, and I
Sydney?
created,
Melbourne?
Melbourne. Ido Leffler. We decided that things were really broken. And I had been doing my tour of duty and venture and was seeing a lot of pitches for a lot of things that felt like the derivative of the Uber of this, the Snapchat of that,
Airbnb of Y.
Of Y.
Yeah.
And it sort of felt like bad Hollywood pitches, right?
Yeah.
And so I said, wait a second. These are all features. Maybe they're products, maybe they're companies, but they're certainly not disruptive movements. And what's really broken is the idea that people are rejecting the brands they grew up with. People are rejecting, 78% of millennials say they don't want to buy the stuff they grew up with or that their parents use.
Wow.
And 90% of Americans are saying they want to buy and work with companies that reflect their values.
Interesting.
Some way, shape, or form.
How did we get to that? Why do people not want to support the brands they grew up on? Do you have a theory?
Think about it. Yeah, no, 100%, which is that right at that same time, we were seeing the demise of government. So people didn't want to reelect their parents' president.
Right.
The demise of institutions, so banks and the mortgage crisis. Basically, we lost trust. And so
Interesting.
it was a moment in time where out of the top 100 CPG brands in the U.S., which are consumer packaged goods, 90 were in decline last year. So that means 90 of the top. So basically, brands are trust marks. And so if 90 were in decline, people just do not want to, use Palmolive, use, whatever the shampoo is, whatever the soap is. Like,
fascinating.
open up your cabinets. You can think of probably 60, 80, 100, maybe 200 brands that you could probably name off the top of your head that you don't even know, but it's just part of your consciousness because that's how you grew up.
So we spent 50 years trying
How
to
many
program.
of those are in your house today?
Yeah, no, none.
There you go.
I think about it like, I'm probably close to none.
Right. So
And-
open your fridge in your head right
Yeah.
now. Open your pantry in your head
Yeah.
right now. Now go back to the house you grew up in and do
no.
the same exercise.
No Tropicana orange juice.
Okay.
No Haagen-Dazs ice cream.
There you go.
On the yogurt tip, it's a different brand. We're using Fage,
There you go.
Fagi, the Greek yogurt.
Bathroom, shower.
Yeah, no.
Okay. Laundry
No.
room.
Nope.
There you go.
Yeah, no, the laundry we use, my wife is very much into researching ones that don't have chemicals or leave a footprint on
go.
the earth.
There you go.
So I loved Fantastic. I'm a huge Fantastic fan. I love spraying Fantastic and that chemical spell and wiping stuff down like desks. And I love Clorox to clean stuff like the wipes.
And did she let it in the house?
She threw it away when I bought it.
There you go.
And I'm
Case
like,
in point.
where are my Clorox wipes? And she's like, oh, we can't have that in the house. I'm like, wait,
Okay.
what?
Well, we actually, so at Brandless, so that was the big, you are a proxy for everyone.
Yeah.
All
Clearly.
of that is happening. Well, that we've known for a while. But seriously, so all of our cleaning at Brandless is EPA Safer Choice certified, all non-toxic.
So if I go with Brandless, I know your set of morals and ethics, which are what?
So We put people first and foremost.
Okay, so the customers are important.
Customers, we don't even call them customers. They're people.
People.
Humans
are important.
Humans are important. We co-create along with the community we serve. You know, I've
Got
been
it.
building community for my entire career.
Right.
Whether it was at iVillage, whether it was running community platforms at AOL. Like,
You also did, was it
Baby Center, yeah.
Baby Center, which was
Yes.
Johnson & Johnson's.
well, they bought it.
They bought it, yeah.
But it was an independent LLC,
Yeah.
the largest community for moms online in the world.
That's interesting, though. You probably got some really good insights into how they
Yes,
think.
I sat on the community board. On the consumer board of
Right.
J&J with all those brands, and
Interesting.
got to watch rejection in real time and the evolution of the new mom. Like your wife, who
Yeah.
doesn't want toxins. Therefore, when the twins were crawling
Yeah.
and eating things off the floor,
Yeah.
she didn't want that floor wiped with things that she didn't know what
Yes.
was in them.
Interesting. So you're on the side of consumers as the brand value.
First and foremost, we're a community.
Got it.
And we believe that people come first. We believe that your values, non-toxic, environmentally friendly, vegan, gluten-free, kosher, organic, whatever it is, have value, and that you shouldn't have to pay more for it.
Got it.
And that we've been trained to believe that quality actually costs more, and that price is a reflection of quality, and that's not true.
It's not true.
It's not true.
See, that's very interesting.
There you go.
Yeah. So if it costs more, it's not necessarily better.
Exactly. Better doesn't. Who said better needs to cost more?
Right.
So we disrupted all of that, and we said, you know what? Because that system was built 100 years ago, the system by which goods are bought and sold, you buy things from stores today,
Right.
but the stores don't make those things. And so the
No.
people who sell them the stuff, those are their customers, the stores. The companies that make the stuff are not in direct relationship with the people they serve.
Yeah, there's a big gap. So, in fact, the people making the products are servicing the store. The store is somehow interpreting their needs and the customer's needs. So you have this weird ecosystem.
And then the stores, because they are all trying to claw back margin, they are making private label stuff,
Right.
and they're putting it right alongside the shelf of the national brands.
Yeah, so the tomato sauce company is not thrilled to see, like, whatever Whole Foods 365
But they don't have a
is.
choice because they're not going to open the tomato sauce store.
No.
Because they've never been in the business.
And they don't even know their customers'
They
email
don't.
addresses.
Their customers are. They don't. So D2C, direct to consumer, from our perspective, many people think of that as a channel. We think of it as a relationship.
How many SKUs do you have now? I'm sitting here with the unpopped popcorn thing and some Swedish fish and some popcorn. How many SKUs, how many brands have you, or how many items do you now stock? And how do you pick those items?
Yes.
Which ones do you go after?
So we launched last July, so July 11, 7-Eleven, no
Beautiful.
pun there. And we launched with 110 SKUs
Yep.
across 7 different categories. So all what we called sort of the things you reach for every day.
Got it.
We now
Not
16
perishable,
months,
I take it.
all non-perishable, but not just consumables. So clean beauty, rid of the 400 ingredients you don't want in your beauty items, cruelty-free, clean personal care.
Got it.
We did home and office, so you can see here pens, papers, but the paper is FSA certified paper.
Got it.
Toilet paper and facial tissue, tree-free, made from bamboo grasses and sugarcane.
Such a good idea because it eliminates me having to think about what is the motivation of the person selling it. Because when you're
Exactly.
interpreting a brand, you're like, well, they're trying to build something that games me. I'm trying to ungame the brand. And I don't have time for this in my life.
And our whole thing is like, and this is such a you thing, which is that we don't, no false narrative. Like a cheese duck cracker is a cheese duck cracker. It has its own story, and it's going to tell you. In this particular case, it's organic, it's made with real cheese, it's brandless. So we turn brandless into an attribute, and then it's also non-GMO.
Got it.
But the most important attributes go in the white box. We even have a white box council.
Ah.
And so products tell their own stories. We don't need to tell that
Got
story.
it. It reminds me of this RX bar that I eat. They're a sponsor of the show, too. And RX bar just puts like 3 eggs, 2 egg whites, 2 dates. They actually put the number of each item. And I'm
Know
just
them
like,
well.
you know them well. Like, it's actually probably part of a new cohort. Would this Uniqlo or the clothes?
Uniqlo. No,
Uniqlo's
it's
a
one
clothing
of our
one.
muses.
Is it that's part of this kind of like movement?
So Uniqlo, RX Bar, Muji.
What is Muji?
Brandless.
I never heard of it.
So Muji is this extraordinary store that started in Japan, and it's basically the literal definition of Muji is no brand.
No brand.
But it's actually about the simplicity, and everything has been reduced to its most simple, beautiful design form, and
love
what
it.
we call just what matters. So you asked me how many SKUs we launched with 110. We've now blown through over 350.
Wow.
We'll be at 400 in the next few weeks, and we'll double that next year.
Wow.
Across now probably 10 categories. And in late January, we'll be disrupting 4 more categories that are already all planned, shot, manufactured, and on their way to our distribution centers as I record this show with you.
All right. When we get back from this quick break, I'm going to ask you the question everybody's thinking about after the first 10 minutes, which is, how do you go up against Jeff Bezos, Amazon, and Whole Foods? When we get back on This Week in Startups. It's called a cliffhanger. You also got 30 seconds to think about the answer.
Oh,
Don't you
never.
blurt out the answer. I see
I've
you're jumping out of your seat
I've
over there.
Never heard that
Don't
question.
you
Here.
blurt out.
But here, look, seriously, just for you. And
What is that?
this is the catalog. So you can see.
Beautiful. References. Gorgeous. And you can, I'm assuming I can subscribe, right?
Starting in January.
Yum, yum. I'm not leaving the dog. Okay, 3, 2, 1 when you're ready. So brilliant. This is like the most brilliant idea you've ever had. It's so genius. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. The brilliant Tina Sharkey is on the show. She has created what I think is one of the best ideas I've heard in years, Brandless. You have brandless.com, I assume?
Yes,
And you're
we
Brandless on the Twitter?
On the
Fantastic.
Twitter, we're Brandless, but at Instagram, we're at Brandless Life, and on Facebook, at Brandless Life.
All right, so go ahead and check all those things out. I'm sitting here with the catalog with over 100 SKUs. You're going to get to 300 this year.
Oh, no, we're already over 350.
Over 300, and you can do it 600 next year.
Yes, probably more.
And I'm flipping through here, and I see yum yum, maple syrup, coffee, obviously, baking mixes, brownie mix, pastas, fantastic. And if I buy this from you, the value proposition is you're in my corner, and I know exactly what I'm buying because of the white box that just tells me what's in it. And am I buying this to save money or not?
So we are starting with the things you reach for, everything in the assortment today across all of these categories, from food to snacks to plates to bowls to knives to clean beauty to cleaning, EPA safer choice, all non-toxic. Everything that we sell in this collection is $3.
Oh, wow. That's bonkers. So you basically said, let's make everything $3 and then make the size equal the price.
No,
No?
not at all. The
Oh.
sizes, these are all full size.
Oh,
So,
wait a second.
So we eliminated all of the inefficiency in the system because you shouldn't have to pay more for it. So on average, you're saving somewhere between 40 and 70%.
Got it.
But that's against national brands of similar quality. So you can't compare organic peanut butter to Jif because Jif is not organic. And would your wife let Jif in the house?
You know, it's funny you mentioned that. I bought it the other day, and she had a whole conversation. So.
That's a whole conversation.
No, what
I
happens
know
is,
your wife.
here's what
and that's
happens.
a conversation.
If I buy something that's not good, the price I pay is hours and hours of conversation. So I literally have to think with every bad decision I make in
There
life.
you go.
Am I willing to have a 45-minute discussion about it? For a ribeye, I'll have the 45-minute discussion. But I'm going to capitulate if it's Captain Crunch. Like, it's not even worth going up that's not the hill I want to die on. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. But the thing is, as the founder of Weblogs, content and community are critical parts of what we do.
Yeah.
And so from the day that we launched and every SKU that we launch now is all informed by the community we serve.
But if it's $3, that means your margin is different on each item.
Correct. And we don't sell one thing to anybody. You can buy one thing if you want to. But these are the things you reach for every day. And so people build brandless boxes and everything from snacks to compostable paper plates and compostable cups.
I love that you have the good plastic cups.
I love
this has
those
become
cups.
like a pet
It's a
peeve of
thing.
mine is plastic. And I've been just going ham on my Twitter trying to get people to stop. Every time somebody gives me plastic, I take a picture of it and I shame them on Twitter. And then anytime I get like paper straw, I take a picture of it and I thank the person.
Yeah, no, exactly.
It works. I had a whole thread, me, Adrian Grenier, and the executives at Starbucks. And we were just like hammering them over email, haranguing them, and then publicly like batting them around.
Just stop.
Just stop.
Yeah.
And they've now they have covers that they're going for. They're not giving plastic covers. They stop straws and stuff, but it's going to all be legal. Do you lose money then when you sell me olive oil for $3?
I do not. Not a
about the
single
knives?
thing on there.
Oh, okay.
Not our organic, extra virgin pressed Italian olive oil.
Looks good.
It's really good.
So let's go over this question on everybody's mind. How do you compete with a maniac like Bezos who doesn't care about making money for a decade or two? And he's got Amazon Basics. I don't think he's done Amazon Basics for food yet, but he certainly does it for pens. How do you deal with them as a competitor?
You know, Amazon is the everything store.
Yeah.
First of all.
Yep.
And every time they expand into another category, in my mind, I write Jeff a thank you note. Because 95% of all of the stuff that we sell today is bought offline. And so Amazon, Walmart, Fresh, you name it, they're all competing for less than 5% of the addressable market. It's a massive, massive TAM.
Right.
So that's first and foremost. If they move more people to shift their consumption habits to buying things through e-commerce in this category, thank you.
Yeah.
Number two, being the everything store, we've curated what we do, and we are a community, and we're there to serve our community. We are there not only to create and edit and curate just what matters. Go to Amazon and look up shampoo.
Ugh.
You'll get 20,000 results.
I know.
Now I
I
only want clean shampoo that
Right.
doesn't have the form. Now you'll narrow it down to like hundreds, if not thousands. We have one.
Right.
It's called shampoo.
And you know that if you did that, it follows your guidelines. So you've basically gotten me to home plate without me having to do there's no friction.
There's no friction. It's community led. It's community informed. It's curated and edited, so you're not overwhelmed by what we call the paradox of choice.
Yeah.
When your wife sends you to the supermarket or the pharmacy, and you have to stare at that wall of toothpaste,
I know.
It's
crazy.
like you're paralyzed staring at it.
It's also a waste of time when you think about it, like consumerism and like trying to figure out what toothpaste. You can put it towards something else, hanging out with your kids, playing guitar, working on your startup, whatever it is. And I buy what you're saying because I am addicted to Good Eggs. And Good Eggs is just phenomenal at curating.
I love Good Eggs.
It's just awesome. I just had the founder on, and I'm so glad they didn't go under. They had to do a whole restart.
But he did a
rebooted.
great job.
He did a great job, and it's just like when I order from there, it's like they might have 2 types of jam or 3, but they're all so spectacularly curated. I'm totally into it. But I love what you're doing for just doing like a subscribe and save. So is that on the roadmap? Because it seems to me that like I could just say, send me, these 100 items every month. And it would just, because when I buy stuff, this is one other thing that makes my wife crazy, but I just buy in bulk. So if I buy deodorant, I buy 6. I buy 6 tubes of toothpaste and I don't have to deal with it for 2 years. And she's like, oh, you have so much stuff in your closet. I'm like, yeah, the key word in there is my closet. Like, it's in my closet. It's my space. I don't want to think about this stuff. So do you have people like that, and do you offer like a subscription yet?
So we're going to be launching subscription next year.
Oh, so good.
And you'll be able to build your own. So we might have suggestions on things you might, we're what we call predictable consumption. So if you're a Brandless coffee drinker, all of our coffee is fair trade and organic. But if you are a Brandless coffee drinker and we know you have 2 cups a day, whatever, then we can decide how many. We also make nutritionals, all non-GMO, but green antioxidants, men multivitamins, melatonin. I mean, you name it. And all of that in that line is $3.
Yeah.
And you might want to put that on subscription, but you may, like for this office, once everyone starts tasting all the Brandless snacks, they're going to want the popcorn around all the time.
Yeah.
They're going to want their special partial pops. They're going to want their quinoa puffs. So,
yeah, and you'd also be like, hey, this is the stuff we want, and then throw in 10 $3 items and surprise us so we can sample like some stuff. That's how I would set it. That'd be like a cool thing if I was like, surprise me with 3 items a month.
surprise gift.
It's like a little, like a little surprise, but I'll still pay for it, but like surprise me with it. How do you think about packaging? Because that, to me, is one of the things that makes me bonkers about Amazon when they send me, and to their credit, they do have simple packaging sometimes, but when they send me a box of batteries in a box wrapped in plastic, I go bonkers.
We don't want to ship air.
Right.
Number 2, we are building for ship, not shelf. What does that mean? The whole industry right now is architected for shelf, meaning that they make things that they send to their customers, who are the stores, and they have to unpack the pallets and put them on their shelves. Somebody puts it in a cart and they take it home. If you're building for shelf, That's one metaphor. Since we're building for ship, we don't want to ship water. So we're working with our partners to actually take the water out of our cleaning products. You can take the water at home so that it'll weigh less. We're working
that's
with
smart.
our partners to take the
So
water
you sell
out
concentrate.
of concentrates.
Yeah.
So that is all in the pipeline. So number one, build for ship, not shelf. Number two is we don't want to ship air. So in our perfect future world, our boxes will be like bento boxes, right? They'll be
Perfect.
like Lego. Now, it'll take a while to get there because
Sure.
you have to get all of that to evolve. But we've already shipped and evolved some of our, for example, our tomato sauces are in environmentally friendly plastic. They used to be in glass. So we got the
Yeah,
manufacturer.
that's not good to ship.
No, it's not good to ship. And the breakage issues and the weight issues. So wherever we can evolve, working with our partners around the world to make it more environmentally friendly, less packaging, less
This is where the
paper
government
in the box.
can like actually do good. Like the fact that we banned plastic bags in San Francisco, and then straws are getting in New Delhi. I think they banned straws, plastic straws, and so we're starting to see government action just to sort of back this up. And then in Europe, my understanding is in a lot of the countries, whatever packaging you put on, you're responsible to take it back and throw it away as the store. So what people in Europe do is they get to the counter, they pay for it, then there's little tables. Then they take their toothpaste out of the box and they throw it into a bin. They take whatever packaging.
Nice.
So if there's like multi-layers packaging, take it off. And then they also have like a wall where you can walk up with your own container and fill it with olive oil. A question from one of our users, Mike Lee, says, how do you make sure the olive oil is real? Study revealed that a lot of olive oils are watered down. How do you deal with the supply chain? Because you could have all the good intention in the world. These suppliers get a little bit shady from what I understand, right?
So that's why before we launched the company, our PSQI team, Product Safety, Quality, and Integrity, we put our partners through rigorous contracts, testing, all the rest. And we really, to become a brandless partner is no easy deal. When we talk about USDA certified organics, it actually carries the seal. So not only do they have to follow our guidelines, but in order to carry that seal, they have to carry and be in compliance with the USDA certifications.
Do those USDAs, are they like really a great standard, or do you think they're like halfway to where you are comfortable with your family?
No, I mean, those are pretty rigorous standards. And
I'm cynical. I
for
just see
people-
that and I'm just like, yeah, the government's in on the take.
no, I would say that, those factories, that supply chain going all the way back to the source is pretty rigorous. If you carry the EPA Safer Choice certified for all of the cleaning items that are all non-toxic, that actually has to go through all of the rigor of an EPA Safer Choice logo. If you carry the cruelty-free, like in all of our beauty and personal care, there is checks and balances all along the way. So the interesting thing about the olive oil question is not only is our olive oil organic, but it's actually in a green bottle. The reason why it's in a green bottle, and a lot of people don't know this, when you go to Italy and you see olive oil sitting out on a counter, it's usually in a green bottle. That's because it protects it from the sunlight.
Yeah.
So olive oil in a clear bottle is actually not as good quality. Not that the oil itself might not be good, but in terms of the shelf life, you're going to minimize that based on the exposure to the sun. So even in that particular case, the glass is green.
When we get back, I want to know how you think about 360 brands and maybe having a pop-up store or a quick store like Amazon's now starting to, because that seems to me like a huge win for you to introduce the product, even if you're broke even at a little store at the train station or something. This could be super powerful. So how do you think about pop-ups in real-world retail when we get back on This Week in Startups? All right. 3, 2, 1 when you're ready. You're killing it. Yep. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. I'm Jason Calacanis. You can follow me on Twitter @Jason or Instagram @Jason. You can follow the show @TWI Startups on Instagram and Twitter. And if you ever want to email me about your startup, it's jason@calacanis.com. I read them all. I respond to the ones that actually have built their products. So, my guest today, Tina Sharkey. She is the CEO and co-founder of Brandless, which launched in 2017. Previously, she worked at AOL, where she was my boss. I'm so sorry.
I was waiting how many minutes in
One
until
of
you
3
actually
people.
apologized
Yes,
publicly.
exactly.
I was like,
I
I
am
was
so
hoping
sorry.
that would have happened in the first 5.
Yeah, like everybody
forgot
who
to
I've
call
ever worked for, I
Brian.
was such a disaster. But at least AOL knew. They were like, everybody is under contract for 2 years, except for you. You absolute insane maniac, Jason.
And then then it'll be like Tina's problem.
Exactly. They're like, oh my God.
You guys know each other. It'll be fine.
Yeah. It's like, no. Yes, formal apology for letting the bull in the china shop. But actually, you were pretty cool about it. It was kind of like, it's very interesting. That acquisition of Weblogs Inc. wound up becoming AOL's entire business model eventually.
Yeah. And look what, look at Vox.
And Bankoff's,
what
yeah, it took our
Bankoff's
exact
gone
pla-
on to do. And actually, what was the publishing platform? It wasn't called Weblogs. It
Blocksmith.
was called Blocksmith. Wait, I was getting there.
Yeah.
I think so much is published on that now.
Still, yeah. Brian Alvey,
TMZ,
genius.
yeah, I love Brian.
Brian's a genius.
He really is.
It's very interesting, too. Like, Bankoff took the entire team from Engadget and...
Well, Marty. So Marty
Marty
was my BD guy.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Marty
then I
was
was like, no,
hardcore.
Marty, you're going to like run
know.
Weblogs
I could
because
just
then
tell.
I don't have to deal with Jason. You can deal with Jason.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's like, thank you.
Yeah, no. It's putting me inside of any large company is just generally a bad idea. The bull is in the china shop. But he's 10x'd it from here. I mean, although it's interesting because it's so hard to do these web-based brands now. It's just so hard. That's why I just pivoted inside all to email, and I'm just building Weblogs Inc. all over again, but by email.
Yeah, totally. Well,
30
the
brands.
inbox is the new portal.
Exactly. We have 30 email newsletters, 600,000 or 700,000 subscribers, $1 million in revenue. I think 40 writers. We're going to launch
Amazing.
20 new emails in January, and we're basically could be profitable if we wanted to. I just keep spending a little bit more money, but I'm actually going to pull a rabbit out of that hat. When I left our hero, Tina Sharkey, who you can follow on the Twitter, Tina Sharkey, Key there. We're talking about pop-ups. I think you did one.
Two. Yeah.
How did that go?
Oh, my gosh.
And how do you think about it long term? And how do you think about the future of retail?
So I think about it in terms of IRL. So in real life, when you have a web-based brand, going in real life and showing up, especially a community-based brand, for me, first and foremost, I want to go and hang out with my community. I want to meet them. I want to get their feedback, and I want to know what they want next because the entire Brandless assortment is inspired by the community that we serve. Many times all of our content is usually from their hacks, their tips, their ideas, their videos, their recipes. So we started our first pop-up in LA in May. We weren't even a year old, and we went right to the corner of Melrose and La Cienega in West Hollywood. And we were Facebook Live like literally 4 or 5 hours a day at times, and it was all programmed. We had panels. We talked about Sophia Bush came by and said, this isn't about my movie. This is actually about why I left my day job. And what did it mean to have a brandless life, which is living more and branding less.
Love it.
And so then we
Such
said,
a great concept.
So that all went well, except one big aha moment. People kept coming up to me and saying, I beg your pardon, but this might sound weird, but can I try your organic ketchup? And I was like, of course you can. Then the next person, can I try your organic olive oil? And then I realized that we hadn't architected it for taste and trial. So the programming was great. The community engagement was great. But then we went to New York, and I literally just got back from New York. We were there for 10 days in late October, early November, right on 14th and the High Line. And honestly, thousands of people a day, lines around the block. I think our numbers were bigger than Museum of Ice Cream. And it was all taste and trial. So we had 18 snacks going at any given time. We had what we call the Yummy Bar, which we had 4 flights a day. We had a non-GMO nut flight. We had a organic salsa and chips flight. We had an organic and vegan soup flight. And we had an Italian organic pasta night flight. And we treated it just like you were like some special elite wine tasting, except it was for everyone. And so everyone deserves to make the ordinary extraordinary. And then they all got tasting mats and gave us back their notes, their feedback, etc. We had a clean beauty bar where you could try all of our creams. You could try our tweezers, our eyelash curlers, our lotions, our hand soaps, all of that. And then we had a fair trade coffee bar. And so people were trying, they were engaging, they were obviously having experiential moments. Like we had a bamboo forest because none of our toilet paper or facial tissue is made from trees. It's no trees have been hurt in the process.
Nice.
And then we had a porcelain installation with all of our housewares. And then we had a kindness station because at the essence of Brandless is really about truth, trust, and transparency, as we saw in our labels. But more importantly, it's co-created with community-centered values. And then at the epicenter of everything is Brandless is kindness. Scaling it, engaging it, and doing tangible acts, small, medium, and large, every day, that means something. So every time you check out at Brandless, we've partnered with Feeding America, and we'll donate a meal in your honor. Since our launch, we've donated over 3 million meals.
Wow.
And we do things like on Black Friday, while everyone else was going on sale, our AMP was 10 meals in your honor.
Oh, wow.
And so we turned Black Friday into an opportunity to give more.
That's awesome.
When everything...
Does that stuff actually drive the bottom line? Do people make
100%.
decisions based on that kind of stuff?
Yes.
Do VCs, when they hear that stuff, get repelled and think, ugh, this is like, this founder's trying to do good in the world and I want to make a massive profit? Because you're venture backed.
Yeah, no, I mean, from my seed deck all the way through my Series C, I said, look, to be really clear, we are built for profit and for purpose from day one. This is
How did
not
they
an
take it?
afterthought. This is not a campaign. Well,
You raised 30 million, so obviously it worked.
300 million.
300 million, sorry. 300 million. Who did the last round? Oh, SoftBank.
SoftBank Vision Fund. Yeah.
Masa.
So, yeah.
That's crazy.
Jeff Hausenbold and Justin Wilson are on our board. They're awesome. I've known Jeff for a long time. And he's not only an extraordinary operator, but he built and led community platforms like Shutterfly and like eBay that are commerce and community.
Hey, Jackie, do we have another ad? We do, yeah. Should I do that now? Okay, you can cut this part out. All right, when we get back, I want to talk. Come on, guys. No problem. It's okay. It's good as that during the ad break. Perfect timing. What should I ask next? What is my?
Well, we still want to see the site.
Oh yeah. Okay. Perfect. 3, 2. All right. When we get back, let's take a look at the site. And are you going to do your own version? Because I would love this of Amazon Prime, where I can pay you a membership fee and just not worry about shipping and maybe get a better deal.
We already have it.
Oh, you have it already. All right. Well, okay. Well, what's my next cliffhanger?
Well, I gave you the site. I don't know.
Oh, okay. 3, 2, 1. Me one more time. Cut that.
Jason, could you just do a softer end as if you're listening, and then okay, great. And when we get back, slightly softer.
Okay. And when we get back, wait, whose phone is on? Come on.
I'm sorry. The next guest is pinging me.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Me one more time. What is going on in the control room? 3, 2, 1. Me. 3, 2. All right. When we get back, we're going to find out how Tina thinks about Amazon Prime. Stick with us. Okay, good. Now we got it. Ding, ding, ding. You want to send somebody to get that guest? Or are they just late?
No, I'm telling you how to get in.
Good. Okay.
The next shows only have the 2, so this is probably the last one.
Okay, sounds good. We sold all of our ads out for the entire year, and they had a third ad slot. We sold all that out. Then they added 2 shows for the year. It's bonkers. Podcasting is nuts.
Love it.
We're here in year 9 or 10. I think it's year 10. No Emmy Cody. Can you tell me when the first episode was? Thanks. In the chat room, thanks. All right, 3, 2, 1, when you're ready.
We are ready in 3, 2.
Welcome back to This Week in Startups. I'm your host, Jason Calacanis. We do the show 100 times. If you want to be on the show, do something great and important in the world. Don't email us and ask us to be on the show because you want to be an influencer. For the love of God. If you have influencer, TEDx speaker, visionary keynote speaker in your Twitter bio, delete it now. It's embarrassing. My guest today, Tina Sharkey. Tina Sharkey is the brilliant co-founder and CEO of Brandless. You should go check them out at brandless.com. Amazon Prime, from what I understand, is the massive profit center, and everything at Amazon that's decided goes through that lens. What have you learned from Amazon Prime? What impact does it have on consumers and their behavior here in the United States?
So, whilst I'm not a student of Amazon, what I can tell you is that, they very much created table stakes for many. And so when we think about if Brandless was built for profit and for purpose, if we're going to do a sort of frictionless shipping, how would we think about it? So for us, it's Be More. And so for $3 a month, $36 a year, you get free shipping, but also we double the give every time you check out. So you don't need to join Brandless. Anybody can shop at Brandless. And when you check out, we donate 1 meal in your honor. But if you are a Be More member, we donate 2.
Okay. And what does the shipping typically take? You do ground or something, or is it 2 days?
So it depends. We have distribution centers in the Midwest and on the West Coast, and so it ships within 3 to 5 days. Sometimes in California, you can get it in a day. But
how do you think about same day? Do you think that's going to become the standard?
I think in the future, but I think that because the things that you get at brandless.com, you can only get at brandless.com.
Right.
It's not the same table stakes as somebody who can go to the corner store. It's funny, though, because when we decided to launch on 7-Eleven, I remember my sons coming home and saying, you do know that that's free Slurpee Day. And I said, oh, man, I think we're good.
I think we're good. I don't think our audience wants 800 calories and artificial color.
Bring your own bucket. And then Jacob, my older son, said, oh, by the way, Mom, you also know it's Amazon Prime Day. I'm like, that one I missed.
It is Amazon Prime Day? I didn't know that.
It was the year we launched on 7-Eleven. And so it ended up, I said, you know what? The ship has sailed. We're going on 7-Eleven. And it ended up being a blessing because everyone was talking about Amazon Prime. And then they positioned us as the disruptor, which it was just completely coincidental that we launched on Amazon Prime Day.
How do you think about big boxes? Because if you're going with the $3 device as like just easy to think about, would it not be awesome to have like the $30 version of each thing and be able to buy it in bulk? Because I'm a bulk buyer. I like buying because I got 3 daughters, I got a family, I got guests at the house. I like buying things at bulk and getting less packages less frequently. How do you think about that?
I mean,
and less packaging, too,
yeah,
frankly.
The less packaging thing. I think that, look, we're not about $3. We're about simple, fair, and curated and edited. And so if you want to buy 10 of something, fantastic. Buy 10 of something, and we'll enable you to do that. But that shouldn't be something you have to do because not everybody has what they call the Costco closet, where they can stock up.
But for those cheese duck crackers, I want like a giant box because we're going to go through those. I want to have 10 boxes.
You are, but you also know that for some people, like let's take
you live in an apartment.
You live in an apartment. Like many people don't even have a pantry. It's just on the shelf. I mean, one of the things about Brandless products and why we've gotten so many design awards is that people really like having it out.
It does look good.
They like the way the packaging looks, and you shouldn't have to buy in bulk. You should also, when's the last time you opened up your refrigerator and all of your condiments were like half filled? So we like to think of just what matters. So, for example, in this sweet and salty trail mix, not only is it non-GMO, et cetera, but it's resealable. You can open it, but you can reseal it. Wherever we can create a package that, like even those gummy fish, because I know you only wanted one of those, you can reseal it and keep it more for later. So everything that we think about, even these dried organic mangoes, you can reseal the package.
Oh, I just had a great idea. You need to do an airport store. Oh, my God, would that be incredible. Have you ever thought of that's got to have come up on the roadmap. Because when you're in the airport, you want to just throw a bunch of stuff in your bag. And to have this many like interesting SKUs and this great price point, it'd be a line.
There would be a line. I mean, the key is about right now, it's about building your Brandless box. Could I imagine back to IRL one day, I can tell you by the lines around the block that there's a lot of interest in community-driven values. One of the most popular stations at the Brandless pop-up, these are for the girls. So 4 organic applesauce pouches.
Yeah, we have these like crazy, fantastic. Yeah, the pouches are great.
Is kindness. So we had literally a station where we had postcards that were pre-stamped, and we said, you can take them, just send them to someone you love, or someone that needs a little love. And so everything about Brandless is about scaling and transacting kindness and true community-driven values. That's at the essence because the products have their own stories. So we don't need to tell their story. So it leaves space to have a different conversation.
Wow, if you had a vending machine at the airport, that would be even better.
I think I'm going to have one like in your garage.
That'd be easy, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm just going to put you on like the auto send.
No, I always think, retail is going through such an upheaval that a lot of the startups I've invested in are looking at retail, and then they look at the cost of acquiring customers on, say, Facebook. And acquiring a customer on Facebook, it's competitive and might cost you $30, $40, $50. And then if you had a store that you rented and it cost you $10,000 a month to set it up, and you convert 20 people a day, all of a sudden you're like, wait a second. I'm piling all this money over to Zuckerberg. Why? Just because I don't want to go out and if I have this, we have this one company, Stylist LA, that has these little stores, and they got one on Union Street here in the marina. And it's like, well, they got a super deal on these tiny spaces, and then they get to meet their customers, which makes it so real.
The best.
All right, let's do some quick questions here. Tina, cool products. This is Jessica Gray.
Hi, Jessica.
Love your mission, caring about your community. Are you open to partnerships? I would think so.
It all depends.
Well, it depends. We have to figure out what type of partnership.
Yeah, we're not a marketplace, so everything that we sell at Brandless, we create. Therefore, we can have the consistent quality, but we're open to all possibilities.
Do you think one day you'll actually make the stuff, or is that crazy, like to have your own factory?
I wouldn't rule anything
Unnecessary.
out, but I don't know that it would be necessary as long as we have the partners that live up to our quality standards and that we're co-creating or co-formulating. I think we're good. I mean, our labs are great. Our chemists are great. We have our own food scientists, our own chemists.
So that's on your side, so you can keep tabs on them. Here's a
Yeah.
related question from Halo Casa.
Hello, Casa.
Hala Casa. Having one supplier per product line concentrates the power of that respective supplier massively. Do you have several producers per product, and do you charge massively in order to become a product? I don't know what that last part means, but I know the first part. Do you have one person making the mangoes, or do you have like multiple suppliers? How do you think about managing the supply chain?
Right. No, that's a great question. I mean, so our offices are in San Francisco and Minneapolis. The reason why we are co-located in Minneapolis is that team is head up by Rachel Vegas, our extraordinary chief merchant who spent the last 15 years at Target. We have amazing depth and bench of our team that knows how to create products and build these types of relationships. On the dried mangoes, as an example, or on any given product, we're working with a singular supplier on that one product to ensure the quality is consistency. Having said that, that doesn't mean we're working with only one supplier in the category. But if you're talking about a single SKU, it's likely with one supplier. Otherwise, we can't control the quality.
Yeah. How do you think about those coffee pods?
So what about them?
Well, it's kind of controversial because they're
They
kind of
are.
wasteful.
They are.
But people are in love with them, and if you didn't have them, that would be very difficult as a brand. Do you have them or not, and how do you reconcile that issue?
So we do have them. We have them not only for K-Cups, but also to fit into a K-Cup machine, but also to fit into an espresso machine. So we have the espresso pods as well as the K-Cups.
But the espresso pods are the ones that are like in a fabric. They're not the ones in plastic.
No, they're the ones that are like in a metal. They're the Nespresso
Got it.
machines.
Espresso ones, yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you think about the
those-
wastefulness of those?
Yeah.
Because that's, to me, like
That's
abhorrent.
something that we're actually really working on.
Strong
And
left,
I won't fully disclose the hand, but we are working with some of the most bleeding edge manufacturers who are moving that onto recyclable
Yes.
pods. And so that's something we're very focused on.
I
But
like the reusable ones.
Yes. So then I was going to say, so we also sell coffee, our organic fair trade coffee grounds, coffee beans, K-Cups, as well as Nespresso, the espresso pods. And cold brew. And so
Nice.
we have a giant cold brew coffee bag. You put it in a jug of water in the fridge overnight. And then you wake up in the morning and voila, you have 8
nice.
cups of organic fair trade cold brew.
Nice.
With no containers, just
Beautiful.
one big tea bag. Well, it's a coffee bag, but
Yep.
it looks sort of like that. So we're constantly thinking about ways in which we can give choice and we can move towards more sustainable things. The other thing I'll say about the K-Cups and the pods in terms of your volume question is that a retailer has a fixed amount of shelf space. So if they can sell you a box that has 16 or 32 of those, even if you're not going to go through 16 or 32, it doesn't behoove them to have a box of 8.
Right.
But for somebody that's just living alone, doesn't drink that much, why should they buy 32? They're going to end up throwing it away because it's not going to be fresh. We can do that smaller format, and therefore, on a per pod basis, you're paying exponentially less, but you're also not wasting.
Yeah, we have a company we invested in, Stowaway Cosmetics, and their entire concept was half of makeup goes bad. Most women don't know that it gets filled with bacteria and it goes bad, and you're supposed to throw it away. So they have eyeliner for 4 years.
I use Stowaway. No, because I throw away my makeup every few
half
months.
the size, half the price, which the
ours is full size
half the price
at a much more incredible value if you're benchmarking it against the quality.
Site's beautiful. Can you give us a quick tour?
Thank you. Oh, I would love to give you a tour.
Let's pull that up here.
So if you go to brandless.com and you're not signed in, it starts with, here is a rotating photo, better everything for everyone with a box. Beautiful. Here's some of our acacia and silicone spoons in a bundle. The thing about our bundle, and our engineering team did a great job here, which is with one click, it'll add all of it to your cart, and then you can edit it from the cart. Because what we're finding is that when you're shopping for this, unlike most e-commerce sites where you're buying one or two things, no one at Brandless is buying one or two things. They can if they want to. So with one click, you can add all of it, and that mitigates the click fatigue. Yeah. Also, you're like, you know what? I am a gluten-free household, not just because I choose to be gluten-free, but maybe you have someone celiac in your household. So I'm going to see what Brandless has just by clicking gluten-free. These are our popular search terms. And then everything on Brandless that's gluten-free is going to come up. And guess what? Not only is many of our consumables gluten-free, but look at all of this clean beauty. We started getting customer service questions very early saying, is your tabletop cleaner gluten-free? Is your shampoo gluten-free? And I wrote back like, good Lord, please tell me you're not eating it. And it turns out that it wasn't about that. If you are celiac,
it gets absorbed.
It gets absorbed through your skin. And so all of our clean beauty is gluten-free, as are all of our non-toxic cleaners. And so we put all of those into our search terms.
How are those cannabis THC cookies, the Brandless THC cookies? How are those?
Not yet.
How do you think about that? Do you think that's going to be on the site like in the next 2 years? We get a national referendum. You'd be cool with that, right? CBD for sure.
I mean, I think it's pretty controversial in terms of the source and the essence and the efficacy of whether you're coming from hemp or whether you're coming from something else. So I'd see that we would watch that play out. And if that's something that the community wanted and made sense, this is something that almond butter. So this non-GMO almond butter, it's in a resealable pouch. I'm personally obsessed with this product.
Almond butter, like peanut butter almond butter.
Like peanut butter almond butter.
That,
and if you have any nut butter allergies, this organic sunflower seed butter, which just launched last week.
I've had this before.
Oh my gosh.
So
and it is so good. And it doesn't have, if you have any nut allergies, this is organic and gluten-free and resealable.
And that's only $3 for 6 ounces?
Yep.
No, you lose money on that one. Come on.
No, we do not.
Really?
Yes. Who says better needs to cost more?
Wow. What's that?
I said, who says better needs to cost more?
Exactly. Well, you've cut out all branding nonsense and advertising. You've cut out the
essentially all the middlemen, because there isn't one middleman. So you have the distributor, then you have the shelf stocking fees, and you have the breakage fees, and you have the end cap fees, then you have my gosh, it's very complex, and it's
got to be 50 cents of every dollar, right?
It was built for a very different system.
Yeah.
And so by eliminating all of that, we're able to ship direct, and we're able to hear that you want a seed butter. And then go out there and try and create it.
You ever think about like multi-level marketing and having ambassadors and that kind of stuff? Because I could see that the people who are super enthusiastic about this would love to go out and make it like a side hustle where they could go and get and introduce it to other people and maybe get some sort of spiff if they get people to subscribe or something like that. You ever think about that? Because it's very popular in the mom blogger community, which I think is part of your audience, right?
It is. I would say that, what we don't want to do is we don't want to start adding margin and adding cost. What we can do, and what's been really, really popular, we only launched it, I think, maybe a month or two ago, is you see up here on the top, get $9. So when you click on that, that is actually allowing you to use the referral platform.
Oh, gift to get.
Yes. So that is something that's very popular, and it's only, it's very, very recent. But that's
I did that with my Tesla.
Yeah.
I sold like 30 Teslas.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not kidding.
That's
and
awesome.
I have all the data, and they sent me one of those free, those little Tesla cars So we have like a little Tesla. I think cost like $500, and they sent it to us for free. And then I got like maybe $3,000 or $4,000 off my Model X that I bought for
Love
Jade.
that.
And I just did it because I wanted to help them. And so I just kept tweeting like, "Hey, buy a Tesla," and you get supercharging, whatever. And then I looked at who was buying it. And I was like, "Oh wow, there's some famous friends of mine bought Teslas using my code."
I love that. Well,
Yeah.
better stuff, a fewer dollars. It's that simple.
Yeah.
But I think also, like, even for our commercials, they're recuts of the unboxings because so many people are doing it that we are just basically saying, look, if you eliminate all of the cost and you ship direct, then all of those different things for every product is different. But by not having the wholesale to retail, all of the breakage, all of the markups, and then every day, everyone in our company writes a customer a thank you note. Because we are in relationship. D2C is not a channel. It's a relationship.
I love it. See, for somebody who's like, we don't do any marketing, we're brandless. This is really well-conceived marketing, I have to say. Like, the idea that because unboxing was like this thing at Engadget that was such a big,
huge,
like, traffic driver.
I remember with Peter talking about it.
Yeah, Peter would be like, we're unboxing this thing. I was like, okay, you got 20 photos of you unboxing an iWatch? And it's like, yeah, and it's the highest viewed blog post.
Totally.
And using your customers to advocate for you and tell other customers why they love the brand is just such a great device. When you have to tell people, here's our value proposition, to the point of why Brandless exists, people don't buy it. But when another customer tells another customer, it's like, oh, I can trust you. You're a customer.
Yeah, well, a brand isn't what you say about yourself. It's what a friend tells a friend, right?
Yes, absolutely. And it's one of the devices we use in the accelerator that we run is ask your customers to describe your product. And we do it with people who come to our accelerator, come to our events. We say on a type form, we're just like, oh, fill out this type form and tell us, like a Yelp review, what you thought of this event. And they put it in there, and then we use it in the marketing.
100%.
So
all of our stuff.
That's the way we tell people to do it. It's like, write a Yelp-like review of this experience. And they write it, and it's great. So you raised a huge amount of money. You unicorn yet, or undisclosed?
Undisclosed.
I guess you got to be getting close if you're raising 200 million. What was the last round? 200 million?
240.
Oh, okay, yeah. So usually be 20% of the company in a round like that. So you're probably right around there. How does that massive infusion of capital, which would be probably 10 times what you previously raised or something, or 5 times or something, how does that change how you run the company as CEO to get that because that's got to change. Everybody's view of the job has got to change when that announcement comes out, and you're like, oh, we're at the office now, and there's $250 million in the bank. How did you raise that money, and how do you manage the company when that massive amount of capital comes in? It's 2 questions.
So let's start with the first, which is how did we raise the money? I think that what SoftBank saw with the team under Jeff and Justin and Masa, they saw that we were the Vision Fund was created, in my opinion, to take what are the things that people use in their life, whether it's WeWork, so the future of work, whether it's Slack, the future of business communication, Uber, the future of transportation. When they saw Brandless, they said, oh my, this is the future of modern consumption. And so they didn't see it as like an e-commerce play, because an e-commerce play would suggest that we were a marketplace selling other people's things. They actually saw that it was the future of the supply chain, the future of fulfillment, the future of branding, the future of consumption, all with a better for you frame, which is where the modern consumer is moving, not just here in the U.S., but around the world. So you have to remember, at Brandless, we're already shipping to 48 states every day because we can only ship within the contiguous U.S. right now. But there's this idea that BFY, better for you, is just a coastal idea. That's not true. It's that the middle, which is our fastest growing states, they either couldn't afford it before, didn't have access to it, but that doesn't mean that their shifting values and shifting lifestyle choices are not the same as everybody else. So I think what they saw in Brandless was, 1, that we were building a global community-informed brand. 2, that data and technology, in order for the future of supply chain, the future of fulfillment, the future of last mile, the future of retail, like all of that, could be de-risked and scaled based on data and technology platforms to actually reinvent the systems that were built for a completely different supply chain, right? Because we talked about this. People, the current manufacturing core around the world doesn't sell to people. They sell their customers or stores. So the idea of building a direct-to-consumer platform. The second thing, back to your point about the startups you invest in that are spending a lot on CAC to sell one item or one category.
Yeah.
When we launched Brandless, we were super intentional that we didn't launch it for one category.
Yeah.
And actually, our early stage venture investors said, you know, because we were ready early with the beauty and personal care, they said, why don't you try that category and see if this model works and then roll out others? And we were like, no way, no how, because we will always be defined by those early categories.
Yeah, so you want to come out strong.
We came out as a platform, and we came out with 8 categories, and we've since launched many more and disrupted many more. And so I think what the Vision Fund saw was that the early acquisition, you then, all of the new categories, the repeated habituation of what we see at Brandless and how often people come back based on the cohort of that first month that they try it, and their willingness to try stuff across so many different categories, from housewares to homeware to
well,
food
once
and
you
all
trust
the rest.
brand of Brandless and the value proposition, it's like, well, of course I'll take my pens from the same people who made these delicious Swedish fish. Let's go on to the second question. How do you stay hungry and scrappy when $250 million is in the bank account?
So I think that you have a couple of privileges when you're in our position, which is that we're not architecting the financials for the next fundraise.
Right.
We actually now we're saying, you know what?
You just did 3 in a row.
What are the systems we can build that will actually accelerate our efficiency, accelerate our scale, and accelerate our ability to truly bring the future of fulfillment and supply chain and all the rest forward. So when we think about our use of proceeds, I always say to the team, it's as if we raised just 50.
Right.
And when I think about those longer proceeds, I think about where can I make investments today that actually can accelerate the efficiency in our supply chain, the efficiency in our fulfillment, and the efficiency in our direct consumer and community engagements and platforms. Because all of the stacks that we're on, our commerce stack, our data stack, our publishing stack, and soon to be our supplier stack, all of that is proprietary, all sitting against one data layer. And so we not only know our customers and our community, we use all of their insights, either passive or active, either by what they're searching for to inform our future things or by what they're asking for.
Do they want you to go obscenely fast, or you make the decision? Because that's a large amount of capital, and they have big expectations. The criticism of the fund, not my criticism, I love it, but and I sold Masa some of my Uber shares because I was like, well, if Masa's involved, if I sell him some percent of my Uber shares, I think the company's value goes up by more than the percentage that I sold him. So net, me giving him shares makes the company more valuable, obviously. It's pretty obvious to everybody. But do you now find yourself in a position where that kind of capital makes you have to grow faster than you're comfortable with?
You know,
or is it your choice, or did it push you?
Choice.
It's
oh,
your
it's
choice?
my choice, yeah. They are not, they are, what I love about Jeff and Justin and Masa and the whole team at SoftBank is that they are player coaches in the sense that they have operating experience. And so they're not traditional venture investors. And that for me is fantastic, because if somebody wants to get to the whiteboard with me, I'm all in. Having said that, they're hands off. So they're like, look, you're in charge.
Love it.
Here's our point of view. Here's the karetsu in our portfolio that might be able to help you. But at the end of the day, it's your call. You're running the show.
All right, quick one from the live stream. Tosh asks,
Hi, Tosh.
Hey, Tosh. How much does social media like Instagram and Twitter play into Brandless? How are you building your company's image online while still being Brandless? Great question.
I love that question. It plays in massively because we are there to serve. And so our community is where we get our ideas, where we get our inspiration, and where we publish back out. So if you look at our Instagram feed and you look at it photo by photo and think that like there's some mosaic there, absolutely not. Like most of what you're going to see in our Instagram feed are photos that have been sent to us by the community,
That's awesome.
photos that are inspired by the community. And most of the time, we're not even selling. We're just engaging in kindness, in setting intentions, and in spotlighting people who we think are doing great things in the world.
Got Jessica Seinfeld in there. That's kind of groovy.
She and
Who
I
are
have been
these
friends.
people?
I wonder if I've been friends
Longer.
with her, Jessica, or you longer.
You knew Jessica before Jerry?
I knew Jessica before Jerry,
Wow.
and I think I knew Jessica before you.
Wow. So
So we're
96
talking
or 97.
old school.
Yeah, wow. Well, who are these people buying brands without a brand? That's my
Jerry actually
Thank you.
loves our everything pretzel thins.
These
They're very
pretzel
good.
thins are everything. But there's no brand except for the brand.
It is a brand. It's
But
just
it is a brand.
It is.
But it's a brand with no brand. Hey, one difficult question here. You're not going to get out unscathed. I just thought of this. Looked like Saudi Arabia was going to be super progressive. Massa took all this money from them, and now you're connected by extension, and I am as well with the Uber investment, to this horrible killing of Khashoggi and this crazy Saudi situation that we all thought was going to get better. The Saudis were like, we're going to let women drive. We're going to have movie theaters, and MBS was going to be this big progressive guy. Were you going to go to that big seminar, and did you have to back out?
We were not. We did not. We were never planning to go there.
Oh, okay. So you didn't have to back out.
We did not back out.
But you obviously would have, like everybody else.
Look, we've been very clear, and we've talked very openly with other SoftBank CEOs in the portfolio, as well as with our investors, in telling them our concerns.
Yeah.
And we're vocal about that. But honestly, we're just focusing on the community that we're serving here and how we can scale it faster. To serve more people that are both food insecure or don't have access to these things,
Right.
or haven't been able to afford it before. And so that is where we focus our time. But make no mistake, we've absolutely shared with them our feelings.
Yeah, I know Massa feels that way too. I mean, he's kind of appalled by everything, and it's really interesting as like founders in Silicon Valley. You have this great struggle, which is like you want to engage with people who are moving their societies forward, whether it's China or Saudi Arabia, whatever it is. And then these countries are not perfect. We're not perfect. Look at our president. Look at the situation going on here. And people are like very quick to like attack Uber for taking Saudi Arabian money. But and I was not pleased with it at the time because I had worked for Amnesty International. I know the human rights, sort of thing. And then with China, it's just also tragic to think about like, oh my God, Google wants to make a search engine for China. It's like, oh my God, like, you're going to wind up having Google executives handing over people who do certain search terms. Like, do you really want to have a Google executive handing over a Muslim person to be disappeared, or a person who's selling a certain book online? Like, this is really challenging, like, heavy stuff. How do you think about the responsibility of the tech industry? Because you're as old school as it gets, like me. We were there before the web. It's kind of tragic to watch what's happened with Facebook, huh? How do you think about it?
It's funny because I told you I had dinner last night with Ohm, and this
Yes.
was the subject of conversation.
Oh, Malik, the famous Malik. Yes.
And my feeling is that as a public CEO, as somebody who, I'm on my own platforms, I use my own voice, my company is all about how do we create not only a diverse and inclusive environment, but how do we truly walk our walk every day? And how do we, if we are for purpose doesn't just mean we partner with Feeding America. Purpose means we walk our values, right?
Yeah.
And we want to create a culture of inclusion, and we want to create a culture of humanity, and we want to practice that in every single gesture, whether it is how we recruit people, how we onboard people, how we honor the people that work with us. I mean, I literally do intention ceremonies with my team, because what I say to them is, look, we hired you for your skills, but more importantly, we hired you for who you are, and you are so much more than what you do, and the amount of time that we're asking you to spend on
giving up
this
a portion of your
movement.
life.
So, like, we also want you to achieve your personal goals, and we want you to set an intention, because we don't believe you can achieve one if you don't set one. And then more importantly, you need to tell us how we can support you in doing that, and then everybody signs it. And so building
That's
a
brilliant.
family and a community inside our walls so that we can serve the community outside our walls, so that we can hopefully inspire others to just be kind.
Be good.
Be good.
You see, this is the problem. Everybody wraps Silicon Valley up with Zuckerberg. I've known Zuckerberg from the beginning. I've been critical. I'm not going to make you comment on any of this, whatever. But I've said from the beginning that this person, this individual, is not the person who you should put in charge of such a powerful platform, whatever. and they've been suffered fine after fine and bad behavior and apology after apology. And at a certain point, you have to just understand the leader at the top is responsible. And this is an example of leadership that has failed repeatedly. And they should not be trusted. And they have, I hate to be crude, but they pissed in the well. And if you have this well of users and somebody poisoned the well, a better term, they poisoned the well. And now nobody trusts Silicon Valley. Everybody thinks that we have nefarious, but I mean, all the founders I know, overwhelming majority, are exactly like you. I mean, you're actually an outlier, like in terms of real intentionality, but people want to do good stuff. And I think if you take Zuckerberg's horrible behavior out of it and you look at Google's, it's actually not that so bad. They've actually been pretty good citizens. Anyway, I could go on for hours. That'll be hour 2 of this incredible interview. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being so candid. Thanks for dealing with me and my rambunctious youth. You've always been so kind to me, and I have been nothing but a jerk, so I apologize. And I just think you're awesome. You know that.
Thank you.
You're just such an inspiration, and just I'm so happy for you. Like, I think I've watched you work so hard on other people's projects for some portion of your career, and I feel like you just found yours, and that's always just wonderful, isn't it? When you find the thing you're on the planet to do. This is the thing you're on the planet to do. It's Brandless. Go there right now if you're listening to my voice. Be part of the Twist Army, the Jason Nation, and I want you to go buy 33 items for $3 each at brandless.com. But don't do it until I tweet my code so I get the $9. No, go ahead and do it. I'm going to do it today too. Go support this incredible idea, tremendous founder, and a great team at brandless.com. Thanks, Tina.
Thank you.
Good seeing you. We'll
You
see you all
too.
next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, that was good. How'd she do?
You did great, as usual.
That was awesome. Thank you so much for doing it. So great to see you. All right, next victim. Giant side, wrap it up.